Hey everybody, this is Erico and I am back again on whatever screen you may be watching this on. Hope you guys are doing well. Why? Because you're watching this video. Be sure to like this video, turn on your notifications, subscribe if you want to see me rant aimlessly on about different topics pertaining to East Asian pop culture as well as other current events. So China, once again, we have poor China and all that's going on with their government, as well as just this power struggle and all of the other worldly powers that be. Hospitals are filling up, and everyone around the world is looking at like, what is going on now? First we had Miss Rona. Miss Rona was all up and down the street walking in her red high heels, and she kind of retired them. You know, we've had a couple years where she's still around, but it's not as bad. So, you know, we're thinking like she supposedly had originated from China, from Wuhan, and now she's all over the world, and we're thinking maybe we have a break. But then now there's this other spark of news that is coming from China, and is that hospitals are filling up with no, not everybody. No, you might think that, but the poor children.
Meanwhile, an undetermined pneumonia outbreak in China is hitting children hard, and children's hospitals are overwhelmed in multiple locations. Reports of a spike in pneumonia cases in China are similar to early reports of a mystery pneumonia outbreak in 2019 in Wuhan, which heralded the emergence of COVID-19. The reports reference swamped pediatric hospitals in multiple locations, including Beijing and Liaoning, which is around 800 kilometers away. Reports also say that pneumonia outbreaks have led to school cancellations and some illnesses amongst the teachers.
The children are getting sick, and they're finding out that it's this new kind of cold, and it has to do with the respiratory system. And these children are sitting in the hospital, they're screaming, they're crying with their parents are running in and they're saying, please help us because we do not know what's going on. What is this? There are children sitting there hooked up to IVs, and they're trying to do their homework, and the hospitals are over capacity. And so now the world is looking at this and they're like, oh my God, is this some new type of like sickness? Do we have to worry about it? The World Health Administration has also jumped in there like, okay, China, what is going on with this? This gotta be something that is very serious because everybody's getting sick. They said that it was because they had the COVID lockdown. And, you know, many people in China, after a while, they were over it because they saw everybody else in the world, it was lifted. And people were running for the hills, running through the flowers and going, yay, we can finally experience the sun again like we want to. We can go to stores, we can go to the mall, we can hang out with each other, we can have fun, have sex, whatever, whatever you want to call it. And all these people are like, meanwhile, you know, like, well, we can kind of have sex. I mean, kind of, well, no, you couldn't. But they're like, we're trapped in our houses, we're trapped in universities, there's walls and stuff, there are people in these suits and masks and making us feel like we're some weird beast from the wild. Meanwhile, the world has kind of gotten back to where it needs to be. So they're saying that they ended up lifting the restrictions of the lockdown early, and there were a lot of people that their immune systems were not ready to take on the pathogens that came from these colds. Also, you got to consider the season. This is cold season. We're going into Christmas, and Frosty the Snowman is coming to life, and everyone is getting sick with influenza, which of course we know was good old flu, Mr. Flu. So this is causing a lot of children to get sick. And they're saying that, you know, some of them might not have had the vaccine, some of them might have had the vaccine. I will say this, there are people that have gotten the vaccine that still caught COVID. There are people that have never gotten the vaccine that have never caught COVID. We don't know what's going on with this. I do think it has to do also with you should get it if you think it's a precaution, but also taking care of yourself, being healthy, eating healthy. I'm not a doctor, I will say this, but from my experience, I did have it, and I found that when I took the precautions as far as taking care of myself, like having a common cold, you know, it helps you out a lot. It really does. So we have these kids, they're getting sick, and they're trying to play it off like, you know, we have it under control, but we don't really know what's going on with this. They're saying that it has to do with the immune system, which is different for kids. Some kids can't fight off certain types of illnesses. But what bothers me about this, you guys, is that it's mostly in children. We're mostly finding that children are getting this.
儿童他的这个免疫系统发育的不够健全，那么特异性的和非特异性的这种免疫功能都不是很成熟，包括我们孩子可能咳嗽反射相对比较弱。
And now it's like, well, this might be contagious. People are like, is this contagious? Oh my God, this is a headache. We find out it is. Because now people in Europe and the Netherlands are seeing that their children are getting this as well. They can't breathe. They're having a hard time. And it's like, is this like some new thing? Like, is it just like the flu? Or what is this? There's so many questions. And we once again have the Chinese government not trying to say what was going on. We don't really know where Miss Rona originated from. We have ideas, we really don't know. We don't know the nature of this either. We don't know how it actually started, the severity of it. We're basically in the dark. Like most people in the dark. We know about the news of it. I think it's important that the news is kind of quietly kept. People are talking about it, people are looking, but if you're not looking, you have a child and all of a sudden your child gets sick and you're thinking it's a regular cold and it's actually something else and it's hard to get rid of. It's very important that you pay attention to what is going on. This whole situation to me is just like, we got some weird stuff going on. And it's like all coming in like combination with each other. We have this that's starting to spark up an illness where it's in children. And while like I think it's important to not worry about it, I remember when Miss Rona first started, you know, doing her strut down our streets. Everybody was like, oh, it's not that big a deal. It's okay, you know, let's go on about our lives, and everybody got sick. And now we have this too, where we don't know where the chips may actually fall. I would hope that China would get it together where they can contain it, at least to this point, because it's kind of already spread out. You know, it's like, it's showing signs that it probably is here already at this point. You know, it's kind of hard to chalk it up to just being like just the flu, and the flu is bad for little kids, especially babies. But I don't want this to turn into something where it is bad, where it's like taking out infant children that are just coming into this world. You never really know. But I do wish there was more information about it. I do wish it wasn't just, oh yeah, just a common cold. Because it definitely is just weird that it's mostly in children, and that we're seeing that there are like young babies that are sick, and that, you know, they're swabbing the babies' mouths, and they have all these children in these hospitals, and they're not giving up any solid information really. It's just that, oh, it can come through all these different illnesses, and next thing you know, your child has it. And even, I'm sure that the Chinese people are also looking for answers, and they're like, well, you're saying this is kind of like a message that you shouldn't have lifted the lockdowns, but it's still like they probably still could have maybe caught it anyway, because it just feels like this came out of nowhere. Where did this come from? Who had it first? What was the source of it? Is this another type of Miss Rona? Is this Mr. Rome? Mr. Rome. You know, what is this? You know, will the antidote vaccine actually help? Will we need another one? Is this something that will be stopped? Is this something that we will see grow like within the next month or so, and next thing you know, we just see a whole bunch of like kids falling out in the street? Who knows? You know, this is a lot of questions. I think that everyone should always ask questions. I don't think that I want this video to like rile anybody up or make people go crazy. You know, we got some crazy people out here that will be like running in the street like, oh my god, the world's about to end. Oh. That's not what I'm trying to say. Or they're trying to kill all the children. That's not what I'm saying. I just have curiosity, and you should too. So you guys, this is a lot to think about. Follow my social media, mostly my Instagram. Also a blog, News Agent Pop Culture. The link is always down in the description box below. And remember, be real. Stay real. Live in the real. And I will always be back. Thank you guys for watching. Put below how you feel about this. Check this out for yourself. Be informed. Be in the know. And I will see you later.